Kevin J. Eberhardt, Commander, 60th Security Forces Squadron, Travis Air Force Base, California. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Master Sergeant Gonzales' wife, Ruth, and his daughters, Jocelyn and Hannah Gonzales. His mother, Mrs. Raquel Gonzales, his father, Nicholas Gonzales, and his father-in-law, Peter Aranda. His sister, Sandra Reaver, and Rachel Carter. The 96th Mission Support Group Deputy Director, Mr. Gabriel Laramie. The 96th Security Forces Squadron Commander, Major Andrew J. McPhee. The 96th Security Forces Squadron Deputy Director, Chris Bostrom. We would also like to thank all defenders, colleagues, family, and friends. Thank you for joining us today. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party, the presentation of the colors, and the playing of the national anthem.
Present the colors.
Good afternoon. Lord, you have called us to be guardians of a nation founded on your principles. Whatever our tasks as security forces men and women, we do them to serve you and our nation. We are proud to accept the responsibility of this high calling. We dedicate ourselves to our vocation and ask for guidance and courage in aiding our people to live with dignity, in safety, and peace. We know true security comes from your presence, so we pray with the psalmist. You bless those who obey you, Lord. Your love protects them like a shield. Use us, O Lord. Use us as a shield for the people, reflecting your security and your peace. Thank you.
Thank you, Tech Sergeant Beauvain, for reciting the Security Forces prayer. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the presiding official for today's ceremony, Lieutenant Colonel Eberhardt.
Good afternoon, everybody. I appreciate all the folks that could make it here. Can definitely appreciate defenders in the back. Always something going on, business to take care of. When you get back, you have 147 emails and all the tasks that you have to have done. For the family, getting to see you guys for the first time in a while, and the extended family, that's what we're here for, right? It's for the defenders to be able to see the importance that we place on a retirement ceremony, whether that's 20 years, 30 years, it doesn't matter. Because you always go, hey, I'll catch the next one. But getting the opportunity to be here and to see this, and we've got some folks in the back there that are also seeing it as well, it's a big deal. And I appreciate you being here, getting to see you guys again. For the leadership here, for the commanders, chiefs, first sergeant, family, and friends, thank you So you'll notice I didn't take any paperwork out, and I love to talk. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of warning. There's a couple folks I know, Sergeant Bennett, George, a couple of folks. I can talk all day to the point that this ceremony, the sun will go down, unless I'm talking about somebody else. And then all of a sudden I get tongue-tied and I don't know how to speak. He knows that, and he hasn't been on email for like 7 months. I've been trying to reach out to him. And I said, hey, send me some things. What do you want me to talk about? Ghost me. Send him text messages. Hey, what's going on? Leaves me on red. And I go, okay. So when I get here, he's like, just do what you do. I said, but there's that part where I'm not comfortable doing that because I don't want to mess this up, because how do you represent and recognize and appreciate and respect 24 years? He said, yeah, you'll figure it out. Which is kind of, all the time that we work together, just kind of, I've had to figure it out and do the best I can, and then he just laughs at me like he's doing now. But if you'll allow me a little bit of a story, the three things for me when I think about him, and there's a lot of them, is he's not afraid to say something when it needs to be said. And there's a lot of individuals that'll think it, they'll give you that look, but then I go, hey, you got something on your mind, what's that about? Oh, no, nothing. No, nothing. So willing to speak their mind. Primarily, it was never for him, but to take care of his airmen. And when I say airmen, I'm talking big A airmen, and that's looking out for me, because I was his OPSO when we met. Then I was a commander when he was doing Army use of force. Little garden spot, if you've ever been there, Minot, North Dakota, beautiful. Same weather as here. And then getting to see each other a couple of times throughout that. So it was always speaking up for somebody else. It would benefit him as well, but that's not what he was about. So that's one. Just flat out leadership. I call them pipe hitters, just getting stuff done. Fire and forget NCO, all the terms that you hear, just a leader. And then his level of care. As defenders, I remember coming in before we met, and they said, you can't care about airmen. You can't have emotions, you can't have passion, and you got to know everything. I said, well, I don't know everything. I care about the airmen, so that's not going to work. They go, yeah, you got to tuck that all away. You got to give knife hands, and for those of you who don't know, that's just me, TI and everybody, and you don't ask people's opinion, you just get the job done. So I tried that for a little bit, utterly failed, and then realized I was going to try it a little bit different way. So his level of care, grace, and compassion. So I talk about speaking up. You guys can hear me, right? So I'll be walking around the microphone a little bit. Okay, back? Okay, good. Canine handler, and I'm sure if you've ever met him, you know that he was a canine handler because that's all he ever talks about. And we were doing an exercise at Kirtland, and I love to throw everything but the kitchen sink at exercises. There were zombie apocalypses with a major aircraft accident, and I would just throw them all. And they would be like, tone it down, that would never really happen. But they were so good at what they did there, I had to up the ante, otherwise it wouldn't be difficult for them. I would do a simple, straightforward exercise. They're like, we're done. I'm like, you can't be done. And then I would check it, and it was done. So we had to get complex. So we're doing this particular exercise, and I'm just housing all the defenders at Kirtland. I don't look like it now, but back in the day, I was pretty fit. I was pretty fit. Not really. I was actually in worse shape than I am now. But we're going, and I'm dancing with these folks, and we're running all over the place, and it's high-risk chases. And then they get me cornered upstairs in a kind of a cafeteria area. And when I got in there, and then they all showed up, there's like 30 against me. I start to rethink it, and I'm like, I'll just go out the back door. Well, the back door was locked because the defender broke it, so I couldn't get out the back door. So now I'm cornered. We're going to give it all we got, though. We're going to give it all we got, and I get into the fight. Very quickly, I'm losing. And if you know security forces, how you're supposed to do it. People were on my arms. They pulled those back. There's somebody with their knee in the back of my leg, and then there's somebody that's got their knee in my back. And, of course, I'm still fighting. I should stop at this point, but I'm like, boy, you better not let me go, because then 30-on-1, I've got y'all. I did not. Inadvertently, somebody took their arm, wrapped it around my neck, so I am lifted up like a fish on a pier. And, it was a pretty tight cinch. So I'm trying to blink my eyes to tap out. I don't have my body touching, so I can't tap out. I'm trying to bang my head on the ground. He comes up with his dog, and this crazy dog, psycho dog. He lays him down in front of me and is salivating like 2 inches from my nose. I'm trying to get the dog to tell people stuff. I'm like looking at him. I'm like, I'm about to go see the wizard. I'm like, oh my gosh. And he's just like, stay easy, girl, easy, drooling. And I'm like, and then he looks at me and I just kind of like, and he's like, yeah, you got to let go of his neck. And then they're like, ah, ha, ha, ha. He wants to fight it until I don't know what happens. And he's like, no, for real, let go of his neck. They still weren't listening. Then he picks the dog, so the dog stands up now and starts growling at the other defenders, and they decided to let me go. So long story short, he saved my life. Right? Right? It went from almost getting mauled by a dog to saving my life. So I personally appreciate that, so I can be here with you today for his retirement and hopefully get a chance to do my own retirement. So, point one, okay? He'll speak up when he needs to, even if it's saving his ops officer's life, and I appreciate that. Hopefully you guys would do that in the future, just something to consider. I see a dog back there, something to think about. Fair? We're doing good. Speaking up. You good? Check? Okay. Leader. You can call it a fire, forget NCO, pipe hitter. What I mean when I say that is when I talk to individuals, and you know this, you have those individuals that I go, I need this done, make it happen. And then you walk away and you don't have to worry that that's going to happen. Done, forget about it, period, done. Every single day. So we're at Minot, and he's doing the Army Use of Force program and transition from PRP to the reliability program we know now the Defenders under Army Use of Force. And he was down the hallway, and I kept telling him, we're getting ready to do a transition of the operating concept, and I'm going to steal you. I'm taking you, get ready, you're not going that, the unit you're in is garbage, you need to come to my unit. I said that out loud to the commander that was his commander at the time, and I told him this yesterday, and he didn't even know it. So we did a fantasy draft, and every defender at Minot was on the draft board, which is about 1,100 defenders. There was one that I wanted, I had to have, and it was him. I said it out loud, and then on the first draft pick, it's like picking a kicker on the first pick of the first round. Didn't go for a wide receiver, not a quarterback, so they're like, and the kicker from San Diego State. And so he goes second, I'm last, because I'm experienced. Totally rigged. And he looks across the table, and he goes, okay, who are you guys taking in the 791, and who do they take? I stare for about 5 minutes, you selfish people. There's children, parents, so I won't say what I really said. It's not very nice of me. And afterwards, I was like, why did you pick him? He goes, he's one of the best leaders we've got in this entire security forces group. And I was like, I know that, and that's why I was going to take him. And he goes, I knew that too, and that's why I took him. So that commander, selfish. Sergeant Gonzales, leader. And then compassion and caring about folks. And this is something that I tell people is the most important thing. And from the day I met him, and it hasn't changed, and when he picked me up at the airport last night, it hasn't changed one iota. He cares about everyone else and what everyone else needs over himself, without exception. Hey, Chief, what's going on? Trimmed up the beard a little bit. Looks good. Looks good. Shout out, Chief Rob. It's just the way he is. And I tell folks that there's a lot of defenders that know the business. They know the OIs, they know the guidance, they know the AFMANs, they got all that stuff on lock. And I go, well, now I need you to human. I need you to care about an airman. And they get confused, pass out, get a medical response. Then there's some that know how to human, and you can teach them the regs and how to be a defender. I don't know what to do with the first batch. Because if you know the AFIs, but you don't know how to human, I don't know how to work with you. If you know how to human and take care of our airmen the way that we know we're supposed to take care of them, I can teach you the rest. Because I've never been the expert in any unit that I've been in. I rely on the experts, whether it's K9, Army Use of Force, S4, S5, IDS, all that stuff that you guys are doing here, and most of it's familiar, we'll talk about that in the decoration. I know most of that stuff, but I don't have to know it because he knows it. And the compassion that he shows was shown again last night in the care for everyone else when my flight continued to get delayed, and I said, hey, I won't be until 0045 from 9, from 7 p.m. He's like, cool, I'll be there. Now all of a sudden he can text. I told you earlier he can text. Now all of a sudden he's available. And when I get out and go find my car, which was so much fun, get that situated, then there he is standing. from the first day that I met him in 2004 at Kirtland to right now today. So I told him to respect his elders because we have about the same amount of time in, but I'm closer to 50 and he's closer to 40. But I talked with the family, and then I'll close with this. Because he gave me nothing, and because I have sensors out, I had to ask the family, are there any stories that we want to tell? Because he's not going to tell them. I've already seen his speech. Thank you, love you guys, cry, cry, tears, tears, tissue box, whiskey shop. So, because that's what I'm going to do. And he made the mistake and walked away to get his uniform on, and then I met his family. So, there's two of them. All right, you guys ready? Quick story. Ready? Okay. 6 years old. He comes home. He's super excited for his 6-year-old birthday party. He never asked if there was going to be a birthday party. Was there cake and balloons? Was there a sleepover? None of this. And he comes home from school. There's no party. No party. He, about the same height that he is now, which is the same height he's been since 2000. Seen pictures, 2000. And beyond that. Not as wide, but the same height. He crosses his arms. You can picture this pout. I'm only going to be 6 years old one time. And then he probably held a grudge, probably still to this day. A few months later, we believe, and the story gets a little bit murky now, he decided he was going to run away from home. 6 years old, he's like, he's had enough. He's going to get out on the streets, maybe jump on some trains. He's got other things he wants to do in his life, and he's gone. So he packs a little plastic bag with all of his favorite toys in it. No food, money. You're old, so there weren't like, yeah, your He-Mans? Okay. No, not even a flip phone. Just going to leave. Apparently made it about like not even like 30 feet on the sidewalk. His dad said, hey, be careful for the boogeyman out there. And then the better part of valor at that moment, he was like, you know what, guys, I'm going to bring it back to the house. So we're all blessed that he chose not to walk away that day so that we can recognize him here. Because I knew you weren't going to bring those things up. It's still early yet. The ceremony just started. But I'll get off the stage here. But, brother, absolutely love you. So proud of you. So humbled that you would ask me to do this. Because we know you can pick anybody when it's time to retire. And if you've done 24 years, that's a lot of folks to pick from. He could just grab somebody over at the base and just be like, I need a human. You don't have to have the real rank. Just come up here and know your part. We thought 2 years ago he was going to retire, and then he ghosted me, and I was like, maybe he changed his mind. And then I called him. He finally answers at his office phone, because you can't ghost an office phone very well, because I called from my office phone. And he's like, yeah, no, I'm not retiring. I'm like, were you going to let anybody know that? He's like, well, I'm letting you know now. I'm like, so now we're actually at the day. I love you and I appreciate it. And we talk about Griff. And yeah, we were there together at Kirtland when Sergeant Griffin passed away. And I use him as my example of what an NCO should be. What I was telling you guys about, cares, leads, speaks up for his people. And I got to see it personified. And I always said, when I'm going forward, that's what I'm going to balance, looking in the mirror. If you're a good NCO, you're like Griff, right? Not perfect, made mistakes, loved to chew Copenhagen snuff and put so much in his mouth, I didn't know if he could breathe or not. And it was just in the front. He would spit indoors on stuff. I'm like, you shouldn't do that. But what I never told you, and we talked about, I never got the opportunity to tell him, right? Give people their flowers when they're here. Don't be at a funeral. Don't be at a place where you haven't talked to somebody in 20 years and then you want to have that opportunity to tell them how amazing they were and the impact they had on their life. I didn't do it, and I told him I missed that opportunity. So I'm not going to miss it again. But for me, NCO business, and I've met people that mirror these individuals, for me, was always you and Griff. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for the opportunity. Getting to see the family again, everybody coming out here, really appreciate it. It means a lot. I know it means a lot to him, and his comments will not be as smooth nor as funny or as eloquent as mine. So it's just going to be a downslide from here. But you guys got to see me first, but I appreciate you guys being out here. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Eberhart. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the presentation of the Meritorious Service Medal. This is to certify that the President of the United States of America, authorized by Executive Order 16 January 1969, has awarded the Meritorious Service Medal to Master Sergeant Nicholas R. Gonzales for meritorious service 8 November 2019 to 30 June 2024. Master Sergeant Nicholas R. Gonzales distinguished himself in the performance of outstanding service to the United States while assigned to the 96th Security Forces Squadron, 96 Mission Support Group, 96 Test Wing, Eglin Air Force Base, Florida. During this time, Sergeant Gonzales led the first in-person integrated defense and anti-terrorism working group in 2 years. He advised 11 wing senior leaders, educated key stakeholders, and closed 6 vulnerabilities, ultimately reducing risk by 20%. Additionally, he shaped strategies for Team Eglin's continuous mission growth by developing 4 new restricted areas. His efforts aided strategic basing and cemented 39 additional manpower positions for 2 new F-35 fighter squadrons. Furthermore, Sergeant Gonzales teamed with the local judge advocate and state government officials to launch the installation's first jurisdictional change in 20 years, transferring the security of 597 students to the county sheriff. Finally, Sergeant Gonzales managed the install for a $577,000 intrusion detection system and base entry control point cameras, which eliminated a 12-year shortfall. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Sergeant Gonzales culminate a distinguished career in the service of his country and reflect great credit upon himself and the Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the publishing of the retirement orders.
Publish the order.
Attention orders. Department of the Air Force, Washington, D.C., Special Order Number AC-009717, Eglin Air Force Base, Florida. Master Sergeant Nicholas R. Gonzales, effective on the 30th day of June 2024. You are relieved from active duty. 96 Security Forces Squadron, 96 Test Wing, Eglin Air Force Base, retired, effective on the first day of July 2024, per Air Force Instruction 36-3203, in the grade of Master Sergeant, by order of the Secretary of the Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Lieutenant Colonel Eberhart will now present the Certificate of Retirement from General David W. Alvin, Chief of Staff of the Air Force, to Master Sergeant Gonzales. Certificate of Retirement from the Armed Forces of the United States of America. This is to certify that Master Sergeant Gonzales, having served faithfully and honorably, was retired from the United States Air Force on the 30th day of June. Signed, Brigadier General Jeffrey T. Garrity, Commander, 96th Test Wing, and General David W. Alvin, Chief of Staff of the Air Force. Additionally, Master Sergeant Gonzales also received certificates of appreciation from President Donald J. Trump and the former Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, Joanne S. Bass. These are available for viewing after the ceremony. Every retiree receives a special retirement pin as a memento of his or her active duty service. Will Master Sergeant Gonzales' wife, Ruth, please come forward to place the pin on your husband's left lapel to symbolize his transition from active duty to retired status. At this time, we would like to recognize Ruth with a certificate of appreciation from the Chief of Staff of the Air Force. Their certificate reads, "In grateful appreciation, the United States Air Force presents its certificate of recognition to Ruth Gonzales for the commitment and numerous contributions that made positive impacts to the nation's defense. Thank you for the support which gave strength and purpose to your spouse's service." Additionally, Ms. Gonzales received a certificate of appreciation from the former Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, Joanne S. Bass, and the Deputy Director of Security Forces, Timothy A. Gerald. This is available for viewing after the ceremony. Thank you, Ruth. You may be seated. The watch. For 24 years, this defender has stood the watch. While some of us were in our bunks at night, this defender stood the watch. While some of us were in school learning our trade, this airman stood the watch. Yes, even before some of us were born into this world, this defender stood the watch. In those years when the storm clouds of war were seen brewing on the horizon of history, this defender stood the watch. Many times he could cast an eye and see his family standing there, needing his guidance and help, needing that hand to hold during those hard times, but he still stood the watch. He stood the watch for 24 years. He stood the watch so that we, our families, and our fellow countrymen could sleep soundly in safety each and every night, knowing that this defender stood the watch. Today, we are here to say, Defender, the watch stands relieved by those you have trained, guided, and led. A special moment for any defender in the retirement of their badge. Master Sergeant Gonzales' badge is now officially retired by the Headquarters Air Force Director of Security Forces. During his career, Master Sergeant Gonzales held allegiance to his country, devotion to duty, and personal integrity above all. He wore his badge of authority with dignity and restraint, and promoted by example high standards of conduct, appearance, courtesy, and performance. He sought no favors because of his position. He performed his duties in a firm, courteous, and impartial manner, irrespective of a person's color, race, religion, national origin, or sex. As witnessed by the current gathering of friends, relatives, and coworkers, the Security Forces badge number G2291 is retired from the United States Air Force effective 1 July 2024. Gentlemen, you may be seated. At this time, Staff Sergeant Gamino and Senior Airman Leitner from the 96th Security Force Squadron will conduct the retirement flag folding ceremony. For more than 200 years, the American flag has been the symbol of our nation's unity and a source of pride and inspiration for millions of citizens. Born on June 14, 1777, the Second Continental Congress determined that the flag of the United States be 13 stripes alternating between 7 red and 6 white, and that the Union be 13 stars, white in a blue field, representing a new constellation. Between 1777 and 1960, the shape and design of the flag evolved into the flag presented before you today. The 13 horizontal stripes represent the original 13 colonies, while the stars represent the 50 states of the Union. The flag's colors are also symbolic. Red symbolizes hardiness and valor. White signifies purity and innocence. And blue represents vigilance, perseverance, and justice. Traditionally, as a symbol of liberty, the American flag has carried the message of freedom and inspired Americans at home and abroad. In 1814, Francis Scott Key was so moved by the sight of the stars and stripes, waving after the British shelling of Baltimore's Fort McHenry, that he wrote the words to the Star-Spangled Banner. In 1892, the flag inspired Francis Bellamy to write the Pledge of Allegiance, our most famous flag salute and patriotic oath. In July 1969, the American flag was flown into space when Neil Armstrong planted it on the moon's surface. Today, our flag flies on constellations of Air Force satellites that circle our globe and on the fin flash of our aircraft in harm's way in every corner of the world. Indeed, it flies in the heart of every airman who serves our great nation. The sun never sets on our U.S. Air Force or our proudly cherished flag. Since 1776, no generation of Americans has been spared the responsibility of defending freedom. Today's airmen remain committed to preserving the freedom of others, one for us for generations to come. Since the dawn of the 20th century, airmen have proudly flown the flag in every major conflict on land and skies around the world. It is their responsibility, our responsibility, to continue to protect and preserve the rights, privileges, and freedoms that we, as Americans, enjoy today. By displaying the flag and giving it a distinctive fold, we show respect for it and express our gratitude to those who fought and continue fighting for freedom at home and abroad. The United States flag represents who we are. It stands for the freedom we all share and the pride and patriotism we feel for our country. We cherish its legacy as a beacon of hope to one and all. Long may it wave. On behalf of the 96th Security Forces Squadron, Senior Master Sergeant Perkins would like to present you with a gift of appreciation.
Yeah. All right.
All right, everybody listen up. Listen up.
Okay, so 2.5 years ago, when I was working with Nick, he had mentioned retirement, and then it just became maybe I'll retire, maybe I won't. So either way, Kelly and I wanted to show that we were a part of it because we wanted to ensure that our coworker, our friend, and our brother sent hot chocolate. So, and I say this because for the last 24 years, you have done nothing but giving your heart and soul to this job and to the people. So thank you for letting us be a part of it. All right, so for those who don't know though, Nick actually creates all of our going away gifts. So what do we get the guy who creates all the gifts? The easy answer is nothing. We make him do it himself. You all haven't seen, he created his own going away gift. We'll let you go and hand it. So we wanted to make sure that the squadron sent you with something that you wanted, something that was such a highlight of the event. So on behalf of the squadron, we're going to bring you over here to help you out. All right. Oh my God.
Beautiful.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 24 years of faithful service, I now present to you today's honoree, Master Sergeant Nicholas R. Gonzales, United States Air Force, retired.
Whoop!
Stand up. Sorry, sir. We took a test. I think it was with Major Clements. It was like figuring out, people's characteristics, their colors, right? Blue, meaning like softy, orange, all this other stuff. I didn't really pay attention to it, so I lied my way towards a color so that way I wouldn't be made fun of as being a blue. Because blues are very emotional. Well, I lied. I'm a blue.
We knew.
Just so you guys know, all right? I did write this out, so I'm going to go strictly off of this. So if I don't make too much eye contact, just know I'm trying to get through this without shortening the mic or, So, first off, I would like to give thanks to my Lord and Savior. He's been lamp unto my feet, shepherd of shepherd of my journey, shield over my family. All right, Colonel Eberhard. I can remember over 20 years when my operations officer was walking topside of Kumsek, making his own exercise injects, which he did admit, and killing my MSgt gunner while I was the M203 AG, assistant gunner. So my job is if that gunner goes down, I have to grab his stuff and we have to go to the next spot, wherever it is. Captain Eberhard just smirked while the panic set in my head. I had to carry both weapon systems, spare barrel, ammo, and gear, sprinting over 100 yards to the next position. Literally sprinting while he just smirked. Even though I had to sprint 100 yards, it doesn't come close to the 2,600 miles journey you made for me and my family. Thank you so much for appreciating over this retirement ceremony. It only felt right considering you did my first re-enlistment, which that picture's in those pamphlets on the QR code. The loop is closer, and I'm truly honored. Major McPhee, Mr. Bostrom, Mr. Laramie as well, sir. Thank you all for being here. Absolutely special, and I can't thank you enough for being here. Thank you for the mentorship and guidance you gave me throughout my last years as a 96 Security Forces member. I'll always cherish the conversations and laughs we shared, and most of all, choir practices. Oh yes, the 96 SFS is in the best hands. Senior Perkins, can't say enough how much I'm gonna miss our conversations that we had. the battles we faced and the victories we accomplished. You never held the truth from me. You always gave it to me straight. Even the occasional boot in the ass, guidance, I definitely needed. You went through huge hurdles to not only make this day memorable, but you also took the time just to care. You're the real deal, Holyfield. To the committee that put this ceremony together, Senior Master Sergeant Perkins, Tech Sergeant Jones, Sergeant Black, Sergeant Caldwell, Sergeant Beauvain, Sergeant Gamino, Seaman Leitner. Couldn't have asked for a better group of America's finest defenders to send me and my family out with honors. Thank you so much. To my mom and dad, thank you for all the love and support you've given me during this time of serving our country. I know that my service has not always been easy for you, but you never let me see your worries. Instead, you prayed. You always reminded me of my purpose and pride, and the pride you felt for my commitment. I love you both very much, and I'm incredibly grateful that God has allowed you to be with us on this moment. To my sisters, from the very beginning, you stood by my decision to join the military, offering me confidence and reassurance. Through every challenge, knowing I had your support made all the difference. Thank you for your service to this country that you've given, also as military spouses. Thank you for the love and countless prayers throughout my military journey. To my father-in-law, Peter Aranda, since the first day we met, you've always been my spiritual leader. You and Frances, may she rest in peace. Took me in as your own, surrounded me with your love, support, and prayers. You continue to speak the word of God into me and my family and show us God's true love. When I was at my lowest, you never turned your back. Never cast a judgment. You gave me grace, and I am truly thankful for you. To the following individuals, thank you for the time you invested, the tough love, and the efforts you selflessly gave to the humble man that you see before you today. General Robin Rand, Colonel Cassie Barlow, Colonel Scott Benza, Colonel Tessica Davis, Colonel Michael Ross, Lieutenant Colonel Stephen Addington, your favorite, sir, Lieutenant Colonel Matthew Foisey, Lieutenant Colonel Brandon McKinnon, Mr. Gabe Laramie, of course, Camp Blatton, Cap Taylor, Chief Master Sergeant Ryland, Chief Master Sergeant Chris Clark, who's watching, Chief Master Sergeant Brett Chaddock, Chief Master Sergeant Drago, of course, Chief Master Sergeant Iddens, Senior Master Sergeant Tanya Poole, Master Sergeant Michael Michelle, who's in Montgomery, Alabama. It's my bestie. You'll know him if he's here. He couldn't be here because he's getting ready to graduate. He's kicking ass, taking names, of course. It's going to be a Senior Master Sergeant. Super happy for him and his family. Master Sergeant Levi Hupp, who will also be retiring soon. And the retirees. Master Sergeant Nathan Burke, Master Sergeant Juan Chavez, Master Sergeant Ryan Zemer, Master Sergeant Chris Nolte, Master Sergeant John Campbell, who's known me since I was this big, took me under his wing, took me to play basketball games, you name it. When I saw those stripes on his shoulder, I was like, I gotta be that. I want to be that right there. So, thank you, John. Thank you for always mentoring me as well. Master Sergeant Robert Estrada is watching in TV land, along with Master Sergeant Davenport. Master Sergeant Paul Sanders, retired. Staff Sergeant Travis Griffin, may he rest in peace. Mr. Seth Giddens, Mr. Howard Libert, Mr. Chris Everly, Ms. Sharon Delphos, Mr. Mike Davis, Mr. Tommy Tucker, and all that I have had the pleasure of serving with. Thank you. All right, where are those tissues? We're doing all right, right? Doing all right. To my beautiful girls, Jocelyn and Hannah, you both have shown me incredible resilience and adaptability, moving from one state, country to another, making new friends, starting over more times than most people do in a lifetime. Your ability to embrace new environments and culture is remarkable. You have a perspective that is broad and inclusive, seeing the world in ways that many never get the chance to. Thank you for your bravery, your flexibility, your unwavering spirits, your endless hugs, kisses, and those hard days meant everything to me and made my world brighter than ever. I'm incredibly proud to be your dad. The world is a better place with you in it, and I cannot wait to see the amazing things you both accomplish. Know that I will always be your biggest fan and supporter. I love you both very, very much, and I will promise to always be present. To my beautiful wife, Ruth, my foundation, my voice of reason, off-duty supervisor, my best friend. Babe, thank you for your unwavering love, support, understanding through my military career. Your resilience and strength has been a constant source of inspiration as well. Being a Defender's spouse came with its own set of challenges. The long deployments, the uncertainties that often accompanied them, yet you face those challenges with grace and courage, providing a steady foundation for our family. Every moment of separation, every missed event, every adjustment to our new home stations are testaments to your incredible strength. Your unconditional love gave me the strength to serve with dedication and honor. I look forward to spending the next chapter called retirement with you and our daughters, knowing that we all serve this nation with integrity, selflessness, and pride. I love you beyond stars. In closing, doing all right? Bye. Sir? Oh, roger that, sir. Roger that. In closing, it's been an honor to serve as a security forces defender. Being a defender is not for the weak-hearted. It can be the most thankless, hardest, longest, and unforgiving career field in the armed forces. But when the enemy knocks at the door, you better believe that we'll be there to answer. September 11th, 2001 was my first knock at the door. The only ones I witnessed running to secure the installation and prepare for war was defenders. Defenders run towards a threat and not from it. I love you, defenders. Just know that. Once a defender is going to be always a defender. It just doesn't. It's just the way we are. Okay? To my brothers and sisters deployed standing to watch, thank you for your selfless sacrifice to our nation. Know that we're praying for your safe return to your loved ones. You will always be in my prayers. I want to thank everybody for being here, celebrating this time with me and my wife, my family, Texas. right? Incredible. I only expected half of these seats to be filled. Thank you. I'm truly humbled. I'm very appreciative for your friendship, for your love, for your guidance, and for some that boot in the ass that I definitely needed. I see you, sir. Cool. Thank you. Thank you so much. May God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the Air Force song and the departure of the official party.
Give it a go. We died, stopping the flame from under. Off with one hell of a roll. Lit the flame, we're down the flame. Hey! Nothing to stop the U.S. Air Force.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. On behalf of Master Sergeant Gonzales, I would like to thank you for attending today's ceremony. Please join us to my right, your left, for refreshments, and have a great Air Force Day.
Thank you for joining.